instantly when I saw Giancarlo's name, I was like, oh wow. And then reading it, the material was just, it was exciting, it was emotional, it was exhilarating, and it was just a page turner of excitement. And then the character, I just felt him from the start, and kind of, grasped that sense of loneliness, um, that desire for family. There was just so much that I related to and understood, and then the Cajun accent was just, you know, the icing on the cake. I To get to do that and to mess around with it on a daily basis was so much fun.
So,
Yeah.
what can you tease us about Colin's contributions to the overall intrigue and dynamic of the storyline?
Well, he's incredibly loyal. Has spent 17 years in the toughest prison in the U.S., Angola, the Louisiana State Penitentiary, and never ratted out Gratian Parish and his involvement in what put him there. He gets out, he needs his buddy's help to save his life. And then shit starts to unravel, and they both get pulled into a world that they couldn't have imagined. Um, I think the real tease of it all, though, is by the end, you're wondering what is his loyalty exactly? And is he really loyal? Uh, yeah, I'll leave it at that.
So, are we going to be surprised by where these two characters, Colin and Parrish, end up by the time the series ends?
100%. I mean, I think it's, I certainly with Gratian Parish, Carlos' character, you know, there's such an everyman element to the story, and it was one of the things I love the most about it. And he captured that so well that this could be, your Uber driver or whatever who winds up in this situation. And what does that guy do? And yeah, I think you get shocked 15 times along the way.
So, working with Mr. Esposito, how would you describe the creative dynamic on set?
Phenomenal. I had a notion early on that this symphony of our story, if you will, and he held all the bass notes. He was the heaviness of the piece, and I wanted Colin to be staccato and sort of for them to be able to riff in that nature that he's a bada 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 bada, and he's carrying the weight. And so that was a blast to do. And we just from rehearsals forward, it just seemed to work. And it brought another element to the story that was interesting, it was just a little different than all the other relationships, and they're all unique and beautiful, but everyone's a little different. Um, and that, I mean, he's so incredible at what he does, and it's so present and real, and it just brings things out of you that you're not necessarily meaning to happen. You didn't plan this moment. This moment just occurred. There was a time, we were shooting in that abandoned, uh it was a Six Flags that Katrina destroyed, and they didn't rebuild it. That's where certain things happen in the story. And there was a moment we were working together, and we wound up doing, we sort of, we there were four scenes, and we would do one scene, and then we had one camera on a crane and two handhelds, and I was like, there were four scenes to do, and we were getting lightning strikes, which are half-hour delays every time, and the day was just getting crunched. And I just decided to run all the scenes together, and I gave him the cue lines from the next scene. He picked it up, and we went, and wound up being like 12-minute takes. And there's a third take of that. We'd reversed the cameras, had a lightning strike, had a lunch a couple hours later, and it got more physical. And he shoved me, and I shoved him back, and he lost his footing and fell in the pond we're beside. And so I like reached down to help him out. He pulls me in with him. We ad lib all this dialogue. We get out, we complete this scene. It takes 15 minutes in total, and the crew erupts in applause. And I only bring that up as a description of what it's like to work with him because everything's in, which is so much fun. And his presence makes everything real. Uh, he gives great little notes. He's not directing by any stretch, but I think it is, I've always felt, and having been number one on a call sheet a few times, like you're the keeper of tone. And he's great as a keeper of tone. He knows if I come in yelling, he can say to me, hey, they so and so came in yelling in the scene before. So like, let's find a different way to get into this. Great, brother. Thank you. Let's go. He's just such a great scene partner, such a great man, and one of the best performers I've ever worked with. And I've worked with some great ones. He's phenomenal.